Good evening. My name is Susan Ritchie. For my midterm presentation for this class, I chose to focus on the area of Rome and the stories that would come from the Romans. The stories that came can tell us a lot about the people. It can tell us about the culture, their religion, and what they valued the most when it came to their lives. Let's start by getting us off with a little background. One of the most predominant myths for Rome contains information about the founding of the city. Two men, Romulus and Remus, were said to have been raised by a she-wolf from infancy. The boys would eventually grow up. Romulus would eventually slay his brother, and would go on to become the founder of Rome in 509 BCE. He is also the one that would establish the society classes that we'll discuss on the next slide. In 146 BCE, Rome captured the Greek city-state of Corinth. With their success of overtaking this city-state, Greek culture would become more absorbed into the Roman everyday culture, which we will also see a little bit later. Further culture, they were a very paternalistic society. The two distinct classes instituted by Romulus were of the patricians. They were the landowning aristocrats who served as priests and magistrates, lawyers and judges. They were the higher-up people of the society. They were the higher class. The plebeians, they were the poorer class. They worked the land, they herded the livestock, they worked for wages as craftspeople, tradespeople, or laborers. They were the ones that worked their bodies to the bone for the city. And depended on the patricians for support. One fact about the culture was that each plebeian in Romulus's Rome could choose any patrician as a patron, and the patron would serve as the head of his household. That would include the plebeian and his entire family. Now, for the religion, one thing you notice when reading through any mythological story from Rome that you'd like to choose is they have a system of multiple gods. Unlike Christianity, Judaism, they were not monotheistic. Their religion and the different gods they had reflected their political values and were personification of ideas. For example, love, war, fortune, that many wanted to deal with, or thought they needed. Taking a look at the Pantheon, there are many of the names we're familiar with. Jupiter, Mercury, Neptune, Venus, Mars, all names of planets in our solar system. There's Cupid, goddess of love. There's Vulcan. And of course, there's also Juno, Apollo, Pluto. All of these were adapted from the Greek gods. For example, Jupiter became Zeus, Eros became Cupid, and so on. Each of these gods had a different attribute attached to them. Jupiter was the chief god. He was the sky god. Cupid, as stated, the god of love. Mercury, messenger of the gods. Neptune, god of the sea. Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Mars, the god of war. Vulcan, the god of metalwork, and so on and so on. These were all different aspects that made Rome what it was. To the people, if they didn't show respect, to the gods, they would lose the gods' love, and trouble would come forth, which is shown in the myths. 3 examples that I chose to use of myths from Rome are the Aeneid, Pyramus and Thisbe, and Daedalus and Icarus. The Aeneid is Virgil's adaptation of Homer's The Iliad, focusing on roughly the same characters. You have Hector, you have Paris, you have Helen, Menelaus, Agamemnon, and so on. The focus of the Aeneid was on the foundation and the destiny of Rome. And it shows in Virgil's writings. The other example I chose, Pyramus and Thisbe, is often called Metamorphoses, and has been called the Arabian Nights of the Roman world. This story runs along similar lines as Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, Tristan and Isolde, and Aucassin and Nicolette from France. And again, this shows the influences the Roman gods claim to have on the life of the Roman citizens. The other one I chose was Daedalus and Icarus. This one shows that not only did they use the mythology for historical lessons, that religion played a part in the stories, this one shows it as a lesson. Daedalus worked hard, metalworking, created wings for his son, gave his son instructions over how to use the things properly, only for his son not to heed his father's instructions, and ended up falling down to his death as the sun melted the wax holding the wings together. This shows what the Romans valued. And this completes my brief look at Roman mythology. Thank you.